Mark 13 is a very unique chapter in the Gospels. It looks to the end of time. It begins with a lesson from the temple. Let me read to you from Mark 13, just 1 and 2, verses 1 and 2. As Jesus was leaving the temple, one of his disciples said to him, "Look, teacher, what massive stones, what magnificent buildings." "Do you see all these great buildings?" replied Jesus. "Not one stone here will be left on another. Every one will be thrown down." It was an observation by the disciples about the beauty, the grandeur, if you like, of the temple. Yet Jesus' response to the disciples is that it'll become a pile of rubble, even though at this time it was still in the latter stages of completion. What follows is a list of things that will take place before the end of time. And you read this list and it could feel like almost a contemporary examination of the state of our world. It talks about wars and rumours of wars. Well, you can't turn on the television, read a newspaper, go on net and not find that that's actually happening all the time. Nations rising against nations. That division that's going on between the power brokers of the world. Earthquakes, famines, and so on. Now, you don't need me to remind you that those things are happening around our world. Yet when the words of Jesus, "These are the beginnings of birth pains," are said, I think that's a very key and significant place. There are a number of ways of reading the passage. You can read it as a prediction, or you can read it as a description, or perhaps as both. There's certainly not crystal ball stuff, this. This is not talking about a world that none of us know anything about. At Wesley Mission, we run a number of programs that involve young children. Young children are born into this world. We've had 2 grandchildren this year that have been born during this year, making 8 altogether. And I know that a child comes into this world and hardly ever comes into this world without the mother passing through sickness and invariably pain. And I think that's really what Jesus is saying about this world and about the end time of this world. The words point, however, to hope. And I think that's really important because very soon we'll be thinking about that message of Jesus. But we realise that this kingdom message is one of hope. It tells us later on in chapter 13, in verse 26 and 27, "At that time people will see the Son of Man coming in clouds with great power and glory. And he will send his angels and gather his elect from the 4 winds, from the ends of the earth to the ends of the heavens." Wow, what a picture. Signs about the end times are actually linked to hope. And you know, one of the things I learned from that conversation with our young people is that hopelessness is to be seen all around, even among successful young people who've got everything that they might hope for in this world and yet feeling still an emptiness, a longing for something more. And I really do believe that it's important that we raise up pictures, if you like, cameos, examples and aspirations and dreams of what hope can look like. When I look at words, I often ask myself, what does that word mean? So when I talk about hope, I'm not just talking about, oh, well, I'm hoping my cricket team will win. I'm not hoping that the footy team will do well. I'm hoping that I might get a job. No, I think we're talking about something more profound. Hope has actually got some substance about it. It's about something that Jesus brings to us, bringing meaning and purpose and confidence about life, helping us to see, if you like, fleshed out what it really means to live life to the full. And the comparison between hopelessness and hope is very, very real. And it's something that we recognise that life lies in the balance for many people. And the greatest thing that we can offer to people, whether it's in the city of Sydney through a programme such as we've talked about today, or whether it's in our everyday life and witness, is to bring hope into people's lives. At Wesley Mission, we often have to do that with some people who sit on the margins of life, who often feel that they've been rejected, they don't count for anything. But in Jesus Christ, all people count. And I think that conviction is what can enable us to go, if you like, to the edges of the world. And the world isn't just a global world. When it says in the Great Commission, go into all the world, it didn't just mean go to America, go to England, go to Singapore. it meant really going to every part of life. So the world is not just the world, it's the world of art, it's the world of science, it's the world of poverty, it's the world of pain. Go into all the world and preach and live and serve and demonstrate the gospel in all its fullness. When we do that, we begin to express hope. We begin, I think, to discover hope for ourselves. It's even possible to be a Christian and to have never really discovered for ourselves what hope looks like for us and how we can share that hope with other people, how we can demonstrate what that hope might be for them. For some people, hope might just be for them, meaning I've got a meal this evening, I've got somewhere to sleep. But hope is usually much bigger than that which is near. It's I've got a purpose, I count, I'm valued, I really have a dignity about my life. And I think that's what Jesus came to bring. And really many of those people that were trying to trip him and trap him really had it in that they had the right things and the others didn't. Jesus Christ spells hope.